The next day, as the Exxon Valdéz filled with 50 million gallons of oil, its skipper, Joseph Hazelwood, decided to pass some time in a Valdéz bar. Everyone knew he had a drink problem, but he had the respect of his crew.
As far as captain, I would call him a sort of Renaissance man. He's a member of Mensa. He was a sort of sailor. He could smell the squall coming. I would sail a rowboat across the ocean with him.
As Joseph Hazelwood returned to his ship, two local communities were holding very different events in Valdéz town.
One is the oil industry. They're congratulating themselves on all their years of excellence. That same night in Valdéz, there's a gathering of the mayor of Valdéz and concerned citizens, fishermen, environmentalists. Ricky Ott can't fly over because the weather's bad, so she's teleconferencing in.
Among the things that I warned was, there's a high risk of spills in Prince William Sound. Unfortunately for everybody, at the same time as I was once again saying, it's not a matter of if, but when a big spill happens, the Exxon Valdéz was loading at the dock just across the bay.
Ricky and a few others, we had that sense of impending doom. We all knew that a spill was around the corner.
At 9 p.m., the Exxon Valdéz and its 24-strong crew left Valdéz port for a 4-day voyage to Los Angeles.
We were walking up and down the deck, and we saw ice field, and I was thinking, well, maybe we'll go in the morning.
The captain and I discussed waiting till daylight to leave. But we didn't.
Exxon Valdéz, we're just underway from berth 5 here. We'll favor the north side. We'll be entrance island at 22:15, so you should be...
It was at the time when spring is beginning. It begins with the arrival of the herring in these massive schools to do their spawning. So we were getting organized. We were going to shovel the snow off the boats, check out the nets. So happy and exuberant that the herring have showed up.
March was also a time of falling sheets of ice from the massive Columbia Glacier. The tanker would be sailing straight into that ice.
I think if we would have gone in the daylight hours, there would have been no accident, no spill. We would be villains.
Both lanes were safe for shipping, but the course Hazelwood set to change lanes, unless corrected, had the supertanker heading directly for the massive underwater rocks of Bligh Reef.
This was happening just prior to midnight. And all this time the ship is moving forward, increasing speed, going fast, and going out of the outbound lane. And Captain Hazelwood's the one up in the wheelhouse making these decisions and navigating the ship.
At 11:54, Captain Hazelwood left the bridge for his cabin. He put the third mate, Greg Cousins, in command. By US Coast Guard rules, Cousins was not qualified to take control in these waters.
Greg Cousins comes up and plots his position, which is totally out of the traffic lanes altogether. Greg Cousins had 9 minutes to first determine and recognize that it was in a perilous situation and then take certain actions.
The ship was set on one course and there needed to be a rudder change, and an order was given by the third mate, Cousins, to the helmsman to make a 10-degree rudder change, and seemingly the change didn't happen.
The ship couldn't turn. Its computerized navigation system, the automatic pilot, had been left on by Captain Hazelwood. The tanker was now steering itself.
It was an utterly simple mistake. in the navigation system coming out that basically they had it on autopilot, didn't have an autopilot alarm, gave the command to turn it back into the tanker lanes, and the vessel did not respond. Everybody who's had a boat with an autopilot has made this mistake, but you do not make these mistakes with a fully loaded supertanker going through an area like Prince William Sound.
A loaded ship of the size of the Exxon Valdéz takes miles to stop and hundreds of yards to turn. And so as soon as Cousins realized it, it was too late.
Third mate didn't have a position. The third mate was trying to get his position. The ship was going at 12 knots across the median strip and just kept going right up on the rocks. It's just that simple.